All right. Good evening. We'll do a super informative call today. And it's going to be a quick presentation on methods in 2026, the direction we are heading in, and some next steps, some updates we had recently. So we'll get started and jump right into it. I'm just checking in. All right, so if you are new to advertising in 2026 and if you are just starting on methods, you might be confused. Or even if you've been advertising for some time and you are coming back to the platform, there are lots of new features. So in this call, we'll try to decide or we'll try to figure out what the direction is, where methods are heading, and then how we can prepare our strategy for the next steps we need to take. So this presentation is going to be based on my opinion and my experience I have with meta ads and also the facts that we have and what we are seeing every day in the ad accounts. So just a couple words about me. Why should you trust a stranger on the internet? Well, you shouldn't, but I've been media buying since 2018. So I have a couple years of experience now. I worked with multiple marketing agencies and I spent over $5 million on meta ads. I worked with over 40 niches, and I was also top rated plus on Upwork with a 100% job success rate, and only 3% of the freelancers can say that. So I'm pretty proud of that. Upwork is the largest freelancing platform, so that was nice to get started. I'm also building the largest English speaking community on School. We are focused on meta ads only, and then you see if you search for meta ads on School, our community is number one, and then currently we have over 900 members. So growing like crazy. And just some ideas on what I think is happening on the methods. It really seems like then it's going to be similar to ChatGPT or any AI chat platform where you just log in and then you manage it from the backend. And I really believe in a year or two, meta ads are going to get to the place where you just send it a text explaining your offer, your target audience, and then AI is automatically going to create ad copies for you, ad creatives for you, set up the whole campaign structure, is going to take care of the delivery, of the placements, and also your audience setup. And I'm going to prove this idea to you in this call by taking a look at the most recent features and then also analyzing what's working now and then looking at some A/B tests and data. So we are not quite there yet, where you just type in your offer and AI is going to set up your whole campaign. But that's already something you can do in the backend. With Nano Banana, you can make amazing ad creatives, amazing images, and then with AI, you can feed all the data of your brand, of your offer into an AI strategist, and then it's going to create the perfect offer, the landing page copy, the ad copy. So we are already using AI and we are just kind of the strategist behind the AI. And these days, you don't really need to be a media buyer like a couple of years ago when you had to be the perfect campaign structure. Now you really have to act more as a creative strategist and a data analyst. So, unfortunately, if you don't like data or if you hate numbers, running ads in 2026 is going to be hard. You really need to be focused on the numbers, understanding the data, and then deciding your next steps based on the data. So we'll get back to it a bit later. But what we are seeing right now, so Meta Ads is pushing more and more AI features and also pushing more simplicity. A couple examples are let's use CBO instead of ABO. You really, with this CBO, you just need to update the meta. You need to tell Meta what your daily budget is. If it's $50, you just set $50 on the campaign level and you send it across the multiple ad sets. Nobody cares if you have 10 ad sets or two. Meta is going to find and optimize for of your winner. At least that's the idea. And then now we also have Advantage plus everything. So Advantage plus creative enhancements, Advantage plus audience, Advantage plus placements. So the placements is going to select the best platform to you. and is going to spend the most money and get the most reach on the platform your ad is going to perform the best on to get the highest CTR, for example, and the best CPCs. Now, it's not perfect yet, so you have to be careful. For example, if you get placed on the apps, you get crazy good CTRs, crazy nice CPCs, and then good CPMs, but that's usually terrible quality traffic. So, still, it's important to take a look at your breakdown and, as I said, understand your data. Advantage plus audiences. What it means. You will no longer need to add any interests, or even if you add a customer list, an email list, and two different kind of interests, and then maybe behaviors, it's still just going to be a suggestion for Meta because it's still going to decide how to target based on your creative and your ad copy. So what we see based on this is that we are way, if you want to remember the good old days, we are way past the days when we ran video view campaigns and then we retargeted the viewers. However, I still talk to some CMOs and then media buyer experts who actually follow this strategy. No offense, I wouldn't suggest it. And back then, building a campaign felt like engineering. You were the media buyer, you know how to click the buttons. Now it's really easy. You can follow a step by step guide, and in 2 hours, you will learn how to run the ads. And then the challenging part is just making the decisions. Where we had a winning interest stack back in the day, so we spent our days building 30-day, 60-day, 180-day website visitors. Same for the video viewers, 25%, 50, 75, 95%, making lookalikes based on this, making custom audiences, uploading email lists. That's how we spent the day when we were managing ads in 2019. But these days, it's a bit different today. And what's most important these days is actually having a good creative because creative is going to be your targeting. And when we talk about creative, it's not just the image, the static image, and the video you are using in your ads, it's also your ad copy. The copy that you are using in your ads, especially the first line of your primary text, which is going to be visible before you even click read more. That's the most important because if you call out the target audience in the ad copy, for example, hey, local business owners in Arizona, Phoenix. Now it's going to target even if you use a US country targeting. And then in if you're talking to the custom audience in your video, for example, your hook is, are you a dentist in your Phoenix area? Or if you're a dentist in the Phoenix area, this is for you. And by having those targeting options in your creative, Meta, even with a broad audience, no interest, no lookalikes, no custom lists, is still going to target the Phoenix area and then, in our example, dentists. To get the best results, good tracking is going to be a must. You have to set up the pixel correctly. I know if you are a new beginner, this is a pain in the butt, but good tracking is so important. If Meta is not getting correct data, it's going to have trouble with the attribution, and then also optimizing your best performance because maybe on the back end you see that you are getting leads but Meta Ads Manager is not tracking it, then it doesn't know which ad has the most leads, which one to optimize for, so it's going to confuse your system and you are just going to waste money. So tracking is something you need to find out. If you are using a CRM, you better use a CRM that makes it easy to implement your targeting. That's why I use High Level, for example, because it's super easy to just set up the targeting, the leads, the conversions. Next, as I mentioned, with the creative targeting, we no longer need to add the interests, the lookalikes, so broad audiences is preferred by Meta. That's the Advantage Plus setup now. And if you just add a interest or a behavior, that's just going to act as a suggestion to Meta, but it's really not going to take it seriously. And most important, a damn good offer. You need to sell something people are actually interested in buying because if you get good CTRs, good CPCs on your ads, and then they get to the landing page and nobody converts, then you probably have an offer issue. So at least it makes it easy to do the targeting. Now you can spend that time to create a good offer, to create a good ad copy, and then a VSL, and then a landing page copy. So that's what we need to focus on now. And I wanted to share some recent updates proving these ideas, what I'm talking about. So, for example, the incremental attribution, and then Meta also added the opportunity score. So this is similar what we've been having inside Google Ads for some time now, but now Meta Ads is also going to rate your campaigns from 0 to 100. And the more features you use that Meta likes, the higher your score is going to be. So for example, if you use ABO, ad set budget optimization, instead of CBO, you'll get a lower score, and Meta is not going to optimize as well as if you use the CBO, because Meta is really trying to push CBOs these days. And then also there are more AI driven advertiser tools that we'll take a look at. But next we'll take a look at some concrete updates. So here I have some in the next slides. For example, we'll be removing the ASC campaigns. It's estimated to be removed in September 2026, and all ASC and AAC campaigns will be paused. The advertisers need to transition to just create an ad campaign, and then it's going to be an Advantage Plus campaign by having a great opportunity score, by using an Advantage Plus audience, and by using an Advantage Plus campaign budget as well. So the CBO that I mentioned earlier. And also some updates to the creative sizing and the placement. So starting in March, so it's already active. If you are running ads now, it's super important to take care of. But the Instagram feed recommended ratios are shifting. So previously, it was a 1 by 1 square image for the Instagram feeds. Now it's going to be 4 by 5 for images, so slightly taller, and then 9 by 16 for video, even for the Instagram feed. So you'll get much better CTRs and CPCs, lower CPMs if you are using these settings. And then finally, stories and reels will use the same save zone. So if you are designing your videos and your editor hated you because you asked for different save zones across multiple platforms, now it's finally fixed. But of course, the problem was you couldn't use two different videos for stories and reels because it's the same placement. You just couldn't upload two different edits. So that was a problem, and now it's finally fixed. So it's starting in this March, it's already active. If you have campaigns running, make sure to check those. Something I just got an email about maybe 3 days ago are the location fees. These are coming to the EU because we have all kind of tax in the EU, and one of them is the digital service tax, the DST, and previously Meta covered it, but now it's going to be added as a location fee to your bill. So for example, if you spend $100 in Austria, it's actually going to be $105, and your VAT is going to be calculated on your base advertising spend plus the location fee, and VAT is going to be calculated by the total amount. So here are the countries that are affected. It's rolling out in Australia with the highest percentage, along with Turkey, and then Spain, Italy, and France all with 3%, and then the UK is going to have a 2% addition. So ads are only getting more expensive, the CPMs are only climbing, location fees are being added, and I'm sure this is just the first step. Probably more countries are going to add or include the location fees, and I guess with time the percentages are also going to be higher. So if you're advertising in the EU, you need to budget a bit higher for the ads, especially if you are running in the multiple thousands of dollars per day range. Next, something that goes back to my recommendation or idea at the beginning when I said we are going to the point where you are just going to type your offer and your target audience, and Meta is going to target it automatically. Now we actually have that feature for the detailed targeting, and for some ad accounts it was already rolled out. You have the option to describe your audience. So this has a text box where you can literally type the target location, the target age, the interest, the, the offer that you have, and based on that information, Meta is going to actually create the detailed targeting list. In here, we see it edits some examples, some interests, funding, heavy equipment, loan, machine. So I'll show it next in a live action on one of my ad accounts. But today it was just a quick call. I wanted to try this format, this different presentation, and focus more on the meta strategies and these presentations. So if you like it and if you want more strategies, stay up to date. I actually have a free school community that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. You can find it by scanning the QR code or going to wupscale.com/free, or I actually just secured the URL school.com/advertising. So I think that's a cool URL. And by visiting this, you can check out my school group. So that's all for today. If you have any questions, I'll stay on the call for a couple minutes, and then while you type the questions, I'll share the feedback, or sorry, the replay of this live call in the group. And then this is how it looks like. So if you click on the QR code or click the URL in the description, it's going to take you to my school group. And then you see it's meta ad basics, uh, master the basics of meta ads. Here's what's inside. So you'll have a basic and advanced strategy section, step-by-step guides, and an engaged community. So of course we have over 900 members, lots of engagement, likes and comments. So if you have any questions, you can always just ask them in the group. And then inside the classroom, I share everything. We also have a calendar where I host these live calls. You can also join these. You see here's the meta ads call that I'm doing now. Or we have a mission, meta ads with high level. So we are generating leads for Ben. He's a friend of mine and he also has a great community. And then we have a meta ads masterclass for school. So if you're a school group owner, we'll have it on March 19th, next Thursday. And then we'll also have a sales masterclass with Kate. She's also a friend of mine. She has an amazing community, so check that out. And then that's going to be hosted the next or the Tuesday after the next Tuesday, so on the 24th. So some great calls coming up. Also every Monday I host a group chat where we can just jump on and get to know each other better. And inside the classroom, I have just three sections, keep it super simple. You can buy a one-on-one consultation if you need it. You can buy a consulting package if you need more help, if you screwed up, or you just need to understand your ads, or you need to replace your marketing agency that's charging you 5K per month, and you don't know what's happening. You need to make 10K per month just to break even. Now, this is for you. And inside the classroom, I have, of course, the welcome section. Start here where I explain everything in the group. And then you can just take a look at the meta ad basics, step by step, setting up from zero, creating your first ad, writing your ad, setting up your campaign, setting up your tracking, your top KPIs you need to track. And then once you're running your ads, I have some advanced sections for the media buying. If you run an agency or you want to report for yourself, I share how I report, how I audit, the exact templates that I use. So let's just show the audit, for example. All of these classroom sections have a video and then they also have a written description. If you can't watch the video or you prefer to read, you can also just go over this. And at the bottom, I also have some resources that are related to this class. So in this case, I have the audit template that you can download. And this is the exact same audit template that I use for my clients. And then also for ad creatives, I have some interesting stuff, how I use Nano Banana to create ads in 5 minutes, my exact creatives iteration system where I use multiple AI tools. This is a 25-minute long video. And then also on how I create video scripts with AI for your video ads, how to create hooks, the meat part of your video, and then my exact workflow that I use for myself and for my clients to create all the assets they need. So that's that's plenty to get started on your first campaign, to start running your first ads is going to be enough. And then for more, I'm here to help. You can post in the group, respond to your questions, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the community. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I'll jump off the call soon. If you have anything in the chat, I'll respond, and then I'll see you in the group. And then probably next week as well when I do another method presentation with the latest updates, with some new features and then strategies. that you can use to improve your meta ads instantly and to prepare for the changes in 2026. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you on the next call.